Hi, I'm Amy from Purity Plants, and today I'm going to show you the general care tips for your Fiddle Leaf Fig Tree, also known as Ficus florata. This Fiddle Leaf Fig Tree here hasn't been wiped or checked for pests for about 2 months, and what I'm going to do is just get a cloth and you get warm soapy water, and you'll find that if you haven't tended to your fiddle leaf for a couple of months, that you'll get dust all accumulated in these sections of the leaves and all here, so they can get kind of more dull looking and flat. So you just wipe them, and after you wipe all the leaves, you'll find that the lushness really does come back. But if you want to do something a little bit more permanent for keeping your fiddle leaves lush, you can use coconut oil and just use a little bit, not too much, put it onto a cloth and then just sort of spread it all the way on both sides. We do recommend keep away from chemical leaf shine products. They're not always the best for indoor plants, and they can stress a plant with overuse over time. So we'll just clean that with a cloth. Now, the other thing with indoor plants is bugs are very, very common. Just like outside in your garden and in nature, there's always that whole life cycle of bugs, and they usually have predators that kind of keep the populations in control. But when you've got a plant inside, if you start seeing gnats, mealybugs, spider mites, or aphids, or any of the common indoor pests, you will find that they can thrive because there's no natural ecosystem inside to eat them and keep their sort of populations in control. So this fiddle leaf at the moment has mealybugs, which are on the underside of the leaf. Now, we'll show you a picture of that. Now, mealybugs are, the females are fluffy white, and they never look like they're moving, and they feed off the sap of the underside of the leaf. Now, when they do this, the leaf softens and becomes really weak, and if they pretty much take over the plant, it will kill your plant. When they suck the sap off the leaf, it actually leaves a sticky sort of feeling. It's called honeydew. And and if it gets to that point, most of the time you should discard your plants because these mealybugs can spread very rapidly to other plants inside the house. Female mealybugs are really, really smart, and fiddle does perfect for mealybugs. They lay their eggs in between. You've got all the little brown bits where when new leaves emerge, the openings, and they never fall off. You can pull them off, but the mealybugs, the females, will go inside there and lay their eggs. Then what happens is, when the eggs hatch, the crawlers will crawl up the base of a leaf, and you can never see them when they're tiny, and then they'll latch themselves onto there, and then they feed and become more mature. Now, male mealybugs have wings and they fly, so that's why mealybugs can spread really, really quickly from one plant to another. So if you do see them, get rid of them and wipe them away straight away. You can use soap and water, you can use apple cider vinegar, which also helps, or even some form of a straight sort of spirit or alcohol, and apply it to where the eggs are, and apply it to the underside of the leaf. It doesn't actually harm the plant, they really tolerate that okay. And then, and then you'll be able to keep on top of it. But just a habit of checking for these, because they are very, very common. If you find that you haven't looked and you've seen, that you've got 3 or 4 leaves that are really, really heavily infested, just cut them off and then just start cleaning the rest of the tree. But if you've got really heavy infestation, you have to cut those leaves off straight away, or you just discard the plant altogether. So so for checking for bugs, spider mites will do little webs on the little inside as well. They can spread like wildfire if not under control. So always check for them, wipe them away with a cloth. And if you need to go to Bunnings or anywhere to get some sort of pest control spray, you can. The best that I can find, without being too harmful, but always remember all this stuff does end up, into the environment, is this Eco Pest oil. So this deals with whiteflies, aphids, the scale, spider mite, and mealybugs. So you can spray that, but look, it's still a keep out of reach children product. It's still a poison type of product. The other thing is, if you've got lots of plants in your house, one of the best ways to get rid of mealybugs and keep them under control is if you go to an Australian business called Bugs for Bugs, and you actually can buy ladybirds or mealybug destroyers that look like ladybirds, and you can buy them and then you can release them of the night time onto your plant. And we used them on green walls in the past, and it's just fun, especially if you've got children. It's just, the whole process is fun, and that is really the natural cycle of how mealybugs are kept under control in nature. The other thing to check for, if you've got brown leaf tipping, the tips going brown, sorry, it can be an indication, and it's quite extensive, it can be an indication that you've got root rot, and that's from overwatering. So as soon as you see any sort of signs of brown tips, then you need to look at how much you're watering your fiddle, and you might have quite a damp root ball that needs to be dried out. And we have other videos that you can check out if that happens. So yeah, so that's a general sort of care tips. Keep away from direct, intense sunlight. They love to be outdoors once in a while just to aerate and just have fresh air, and they love warmth. So yeah, so there's your general care tips. Thank you.